Welcome back to our podcast. My name's Aditya.
And I'm Arya. Today, we will uncover one of the most vital economic recovery efforts in American history: the New Deal's job programs and how they tackled unemployment during the Great Depression.
Yup, the Great Depression, which started in 1929 after a major stock market crash, led to widespread unemployment, with unemployment rates soaring up to 25% in 1933. Isn't that just crazy?
Yes, millions of Americans lost their homes, jobs, and happiness. As you can see in this photograph, the unemployment issue was so severe that a large number of people from different backgrounds came together to combat it. But do not fear, Franklin D. Roosevelt was there. Even before coming into office in 1933, he came up with an innovative government intervention and an economic hardship plan called the New Deal that got Americans back to work. Today, we're going to be focusing on how these job programs helped millions of Americans out of a financial crisis.
Right off the bat, let's start with one of the most well-known programs you might have heard of, the CCC, which was created in 1933. Short for the Civilian Conservation Corps, the CCC gave jobs to young men between 18 and 25, mainly in environmental conservation projects. They built trails, planted trees, and even worked on national parks, such as the beautiful Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. At one point, the CCC employed around 500,000 people. It not only provided wages, but also helped young men develop skills and discipline. With the help of Francis Perkins, the CCC also promoted social justice, minimum wage legislation, old age insurance, and the abolition of child labor.
Another major program was the Public Works Administration, also known as the PWA. Instead of aiming to fulfill small conservative projects, the PWA focused on large-scale infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, and much more. It pumped billions of dollars into the economy and created thousands of jobs, creating great opportunities for Americans. It also created the National Industrial Recovery Act, or NIRA, to regulate fair wages and prices.
Speaking of building things, we can't forget about the Works Progress Administration, also known as WPA, which was one of the largest job programs under the New Deal. Between 1935 and 1943, it employed a whopping 8.5 million Americans.
The interesting part about the WPA is that instead of focusing mainly on city-based infrastructure, like roads, buildings, etc., it also focused on fine arts, creating job opportunities for artists, musicians, and writers.
That's right. For example, the WPA's federal art project allowed artists to create murals and sculptures, some of which still exist today. It recognized that unemployment wasn't just about the manual labor, but also affected creative professions.
Another program that targeted unemployment was the National Youth Administration, also known as the NYA. This initiative aimed to help young people stay in school while also gaining work experience. Pretty cool, right?
Wow, that must have been really beneficial to the Americans.
Yep. So instead of dropping out because of financial hardship, students could get part-time jobs through the NYA, helping them afford education while also gaining skills for a full-time career in the future.
Lastly, let's tackle the Farm Security Administration, or FSA, which played a vital role in helping struggling farmers during the Great Depression. The FSA supplied low-interest loans to help tenant farmers purchase their own land, reducing their dependence on unpredictable landlords. It also designated camps and workshops to contribute momentary housing, education, and job training for displaced farm workers, providing them with sturdy foundation to rebuild their livelihoods. Additionally, the FSA actively encouraged modern farming practices, promoting sustainable agricultural techniques that improved efficiency, enhanced soil conservation, and allowed farmers to maintain steady production. By equipping Farmers with better tools, resources, and knowledge, the FSA not only supported them survive economic adversity, but also guaranteed long-term stability in American agriculture.
Now, some may argue that these camps required lots of materials to be used and money to be spent. But there's one certainty. Millions of Americans were put back to work and the economy became stabilized.
Yup, the impact of these programs is still evident today in the roads we drive over, the schools we learn in, and the national parks we visit and enjoy. Many of the highways, bridges, and tunnels constructed during this time stay important to our transportation system, while public schools and libraries built under these enterprises continue to benefit communities. Even our national parks, which were created and maintained through the New Deal programs, still supply our recreational opportunities and environmental protection. The legacy of these undertakings establish how government action during the Great Depression influenced the infrastructure and general services we depend on today.
That's right. It's amazing how programs implemented nearly a century ago still affect our daily lives.
Anyways, that wraps up today's episode. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to come back for next week's topic, the bonus army and their promised bonuses.
See y'all next time for another deep dive into a history lesson. Goodbye, everyone.